After 4 years of marriage, my husband's first love returned from abroad. He couldn't get a divorce, so he turned around and publicly pursued that woman. I became a laughingstock online. When I tried to stop him, he shoved me hard and yelled, "Can't you just let me go?" I grabbed him and we both tumbled down the stairs. Then I woke up back to the day we first met. He handed me a confession letter and said, "Hi, could you please give this to your desk mate?" This time, he handed the letter to his first love, and I accepted the school genius's confession instead. He got mad and asked, "Don't you love me anymore?" The moment I opened my eyes, I saw the man who had pushed me down the stairs. My husband, Jack Thomas, with whom I had been married for 4 years. Now given a second chance, he clearly didn't want to be with me, but he shouldn't have given me the same confession letter he once gave me, only to now ask me to deliver it to another woman. That look of false sincerity made me sick to my stomach. All those painful, bitter memories felt like a dream, distant and numb, as if anesthetized, unable to feel a thing. "Hey," Jack Thomas called a few times when he saw me frozen in place. I came back to my senses and smiled. "Sure." I took the letter from him and walked away. He regretted being with me. Then let it be. From now on, we're strangers. Jack Thomas stood there watching me leave and muttered, "Weird." I observed her for a month. She definitely didn't come back with me, then guessed. Did she already have a crush on me at this time? Back at my seat, I handed the letter to the girl sitting beside me who was reading. I had to admit she truly looked like a school beauty. Her delicate fair face resembled a spring blossom, pure and lovely. "What?" she asked. I didn't say anything, just shoved the letter into her hand, then put my head down to sleep. I didn't want to talk to her. I didn't even want to see her. In our 4th year of marriage, Jack Thomas got drunk and mistook me for another woman. Back then, I foolishly held him and tried to comfort him. The next day, I learned that the Ella he'd called out in his drunken haze wasn't me, but another woman, Natalie. At a banquet, I overheard his heartfelt confession on the 2nd floor balcony. "I've always loved you. That letter back then was meant for you, but Ella Davis ended up with it." I stood frozen, holding my pregnancy report, feeling like a complete joke. Jack saw me and froze, too. Then, seeing he was exposed, he said flatly, "Ella, now that you know, let's divorce that letter. It was all a misunderstanding. 4 years of dating, 4 years of marriage, 8 years of love, all dismissed with one word. Misunderstanding. What happened afterward is a blur. I only remember feeling cold all over and a sharp pain in my stomach." He began negotiating the divorce. When I refused, he openly courted Natalie White. My friends couldn't believe it. How could the Jack Thomas who once loved me so deeply fall for someone else so easily? Even I didn't understand. The emotional roller coaster of pregnancy left me unable to process it all. Jack Thomas stopped coming home, stopped replying to messages, and sent his lawyer to handle divorce matters. Eventually, he got together with Natalie White. I couldn't reach him, so I met with Natalie at a cafe. The moment she saw me, she asked, "He loves me. Why won't you divorce him?" I was speechless at her audacity. She continued, "I liked him back then, and he clearly liked me too. But he confessed to you." I was so angry. I left the country. Now that the misunderstanding is cleared up, it's time for you to go. Don't worry. Jack won't let you walk away with nothing. He's leaving you a house. A house? It sounded like a grand gesture, but we co-founded the company. I owned half of it, though everything happened so suddenly. I wasn't foolish enough to sign those divorce papers.
Tell Jack
Thomas to come home.
he won't respond to me.
She scoffed.
You still don't know.
Why he's not replying. I couldn't hold it in anymore and began dry heaving. Nellie White frowned and leaned back. Her sleeve knocked over the coffee cup, spilling hot liquid all over her.
She
Jumped up, startled. Jack Thomas rushed
in at that moment.
Seeing her burned leg, he quickly wiped her off with tissues. Then he turned to me and yelled, "Are you crazy?" I took a sip of water to suppress my nausea. I didn't do
it.
Natalie White began crying.
Tears
Ran down her face as she said, "Jack, don't blame her. It's my fault.
It's
Only natural she hates me."
your
Disgusting, Jack said and left with her. I stayed there vomiting until my vision went dark and my chest felt like it would explode. After I passed on the confession letter, Natalie White didn't
reply.
Jack Thomas came to me and questioned, "Did you really give her the letter?" Then coldly added, "I don't like you. That letter wasn't for you."
I
Looked at him. If he had said that in our last life, I would never have been with him. In my previous life, I was insecure and desperate to be loved.
When
the most handsome boy in school handed me a letter, my heart fluttered.
he
Hurt me so deeply, and in the end, it was all just a misunderstanding. I gave it to her, I said, forcing back the rising nausea, and turned to leave.
Jack
Thomas noticed my pale face and instinctively grabbed my hand. "What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell, Jack Thomas?" A girl's voice rang out from not far away. Natalie White walked over angrily. "Why are you holding her hand?" Jack immediately let go. I turned and walked away, and just as I was leaving, I heard him say, "She took my letter but didn't give it to you. I came to get it back." The girl blushed and said, "I got
it."
"Then will you accept my confession?" "I wanted to, but you didn't write a
name.
I didn't dare come to you.
I
Thought you'd recognize my handwriting." Not long after, I leaned against a tree and threw up. My stomach was empty. Only water came out. Tears from the retching streamed down, leaving me breathless. "Hey, classmate. Are you okay?" A male voice approached. My large hand gently patted my back. While patting me, he bent slightly to check on me from the side, and then his hand froze. A pair of red, tear-filled eyes met his large drops, rolling down without end. I turned my head away, embarrassed. I didn't want anyone to see me like this. He didn't say another word, just continued gently patting my back. Seeing I was feeling a little better, he pulled a towel from his bag and handed it to me. "It's a new
towel," he said.
I took it and wiped my face randomly, lowering my head. "Thank you." Then he offered me a cup of water. He poured some into the cap of his water bottle. "Afraid I'd mind," he said.
I
Washed it. "Haven't used it today."
I
Accepted and drank it all. My throat felt a bit better.
Do you want me to
take you to the infirmary?" he asked. "Thanks. No need. It's just heartbreak."
I
said, "Just heartbreak." The aftershock of divorce and heartbreak crept in with time, even more unbearable than it was in my past life. After that day, news of the school's top boy and top girl dating spread like wildfire. I changed seats, but still couldn't avoid seeing Jack Thomas come to find her. Unlike our secret romance, he now openly visited Natalie White, bringing her breakfast.
I
Lowered my eyes, put on my headphones, and reviewed what I learned yesterday. Relearning forgotten knowledge mattered more than autumn melancholy. After finishing his meal, Jack Thomas habitually pulled out a wet wipe to clean Natalie White's fingers one by
one.
when he looked up and saw it wasn't the familiar face, he froze. Jack, what's wrong? Natalie White asked.
He
Forced a smile. Nothing. Then his eyes drifted past her to Ella Davis, who was reading and seemed not to care in the slightest. Want some ice cream? I'll get you some at lunch. At noon, after lunch. With my roommate, I asked her to go ahead while I returned to the classroom to grab the headphones. I forgot.
as I
Headed downstairs with the headphones, someone came up. Her umbrella caught me, and I tumbled down. She fell too, dragged by the umbrella.
Fortunately, it
Was only the first floor. The stairs were short, and we just got a few scrapes. Jack Thomas came running over, with a lunchbox helping Natalie wide
up.
Natalie, are you hurt?
What?
Jack. The ice cream fell. As I pushed myself up, I accidentally stepped on the ice
Cream.
Natalie saw this and cried even harder. She stepped on my ice cream. Only then did Jack notice it was me.
His
Expression turned cold. Ella Davis apologized. He seemed certain I had done it on purpose after all. In his mind, I was just a girl secretly in love with him. The melted ice cream screamed beneath. My foot felt sticky and disgusting, like stepping in dog poop. I scraped my foot off to the side a few times, ignored them, and walked away. When I was throwing up by a tree again, a familiar hand gently patted my back. Just like last time, when I felt a little better, he handed me water and went to get a broom to clean up the mess I made. After he was done, I said awkwardly, "Sorry, class president.
I've troubled you.
Again." "No trouble at all," he said. "Do you want to eat something?" Luke Adams offered. I shook my head.
No.
Appetite. Luke thought for a moment, then told me to sit on the floor and
Wait.
then he ran off. Soon he came back with a bag of snacks for me and handed me an ice cream he was holding in the other hand. Chocolate ice cream, my favorite brand and flavor, the same kind as the one I had just stepped on.
It was
A hot day, just like today. I had no appetite from the heat, and Jack Thomas bought me a chocolate ice cream. I took one bite and was blown away. I'd never had such delicious ice cream before.
my
Eyes widened in surprise. Jack Thomas was amused by my reaction. He leaned down and kissed me. "You like it that much?" I nodded enthusiastically. "It's so good. Really, really good." "Then I'll buy it for you every time."
Okay.
Every summer after that, Jack Thomas would buy it for me. Later, he even stocked several boxes at home, so I could eat as much as I wanted. In the 8th summer, Jack Thomas still bought the ice cream, but it wasn't for me anymore.
I
Tore open the wrapper, took a bite.
It's
"Bitter," I said. Then the tears came, uncontrollably, slipping down like a broken thread. I never knew I could cry so much. Even when I fell and hurt myself just now, I didn't shed a single
tear.
Luke Adams sat down beside me and took out a piece of bread from the bag.
To eat.
"It is a bit bitter," he said. "When I first tried it as a kid, I didn't like it, but my little sister loved it. She said no girl could ever resist it. After that, we always had it in the freezer at home, and I ended up loving it too. It starts off a little bitter, but it gets better later." Then he said nothing more and just sat quietly with me while I finished the ice cream through tears. From then on, I stopped paying attention to anything else and focused completely on studying. It was the critical stage of our senior
Year.
Still, I occasionally heard bits of gossip about the school's most Popular couple. Yesterday, they went on a date to an amusement park. Today, Jack Thomas gave her a bouquet of flowers. Rumor had it they were planning to study abroad together and weren't even going to bother taking the college entrance exam, sparking envy throughout the school. They're so perfect for each other. My desk mate sighed in admiration. Ella, when do you think I'll have a sweet romance like that? Did you finish the test paper? She instantly deflated, giving me a gentle nudge. Seriously, don't you ever want to fall in love? The college entrance exam is around the corner. Have you finished reviewing?
She
Scrunched her face in frustration.
If I
Don't do well, my mom will kill me. Forget love. I can't afford any distractions. On cleaning duty day, after throwing out the trash with some classmates, I returned to find the empty classroom suddenly occupied by someone. He was sleeping face down on a desk, but I recognized him instantly. Jack Thomas. I walked past him with my meal card, and the noise woke him. He lifted his head and looked at me, his eyes bright and clear as he smiled. Still half asleep, Jack Thomas grabbed my hand and rested his face on it, looking up at me. Ella, are you upset today? In that moment, the world around me seemed to fall away like time reversing, memories flashing one after another. After I had agreed to be with Jack Thomas in my past life, my insecure and self-conscious nature gave me no peace. I was often moody, and the young Jack Thomas couldn't read a girl's mind, always flustered and unsure of what to do. Once I got upset and buried my face, ignoring him. He stood silently to the side, face cold, as if ready to
give me the silent treatment until the
end of time. After a few minutes, I heard footsteps as if he'd left, and I couldn't help crying. But he hadn't
actually gone.
He'd walked around outside and peeked at me through the window. When he saw me crying, he panicked and reached through the window to touch my face. What do you want from
me?
I abruptly sat up. An apology.
What
did I do wrong?
Jack Thomas snapped,
confused and frustrated. You never tell me anything. Jack Thomas snapped, confused and frustrated. I was too fragile to say it out loud. It had been something so small, but it made me so upset. I just couldn't stop crying.
Jack
finally softened, hugging me tightly and comforting me the entire afternoon. Okay, I'm sorry. It's my fault. Once I calmed down, I was too embarrassed to tell him the truth that it was just the impatient look on his face during lunch that had made me feel
sad.
If I do something wrong again, you have to tell me, Jack Thomas said. If you're not happy, I can't be either.
I am.
I nodded. There were still arguments later on, but once I explained what upset me, no matter how big or small, he never repeated it again. His temper wasn't the easiest to deal with, but he was always gentle when it came to my sensitivity and insecurities. If he ever saw me without a smile, he'd ask, Ella, why aren't you happy today? I owe much of my calm, balanced personality later in life to the way he patiently tolerated and protected me. Now, standing in the same familiar classroom and hearing him ask that same old question, my heart felt like it was being torn apart. I wanted to ask him, why did you become like that in the end? Even if the confession letter had gone to the wrong person, the love we shared after that was real. Those memories were
real.
I took a deep breath, yanked my hand away, watched as his head slammed into the desk from the momentum, then turned and walked out of the classroom. I didn't even need to ask. The answer wasn't hard to guess. He simply didn't love me anymore. Jack Thomas had thrown all those memories, all that love into the trash, and went back to chase the girl the letter had originally been meant for. Just then Natalie White came into the classroom carrying a lunchbox. She saw Jack Thomas sitting there, stunned, his face pale. "What's wrong?" she asked, confused. He touched his forehead, wincing. "It's nothing."
Time
Flew by, and the college entrance exam was fast approaching. Natalie White invited the entire class to her birthday party on June 12th. She invited me, too. I didn't want to go, but the teachers would also be attending. It was more like a farewell dinner. The exam came and went. On the day of the party, early in the morning, my desk mate called me and urged me to put on some makeup. "We're finally free. You have to look gorgeous." I sat in front of the mirror, staring at the familiar face. Unlike the sensitive girl I was in my past life, this face was bold and striking with an unmistakable beauty that couldn't be ignored. After putting on makeup, I went downstairs. Luke Adams was already waiting. When he heard my footsteps, he turned around and exaggerated a deep
gasp.
"I seriously regret not rolling out a red carpet." I couldn't help but laugh. "You're teasing me." Luke quickly averted his eyes, too shy to meet my gaze. He opened the car door and held it for me, like a gentleman. After I got in, he circled around to the driver's side and
Sat down.
a soft breeze blew in, carrying a clean, fresh fragrance, no doubt coming from the woman sitting beside him. Luke Adams's heart was pounding so hard it felt like it was going to explode. When we arrived, we saw that everyone was dressed to the nines. It felt like walking into a garden full of blooming flowers. My deskmate, Mia Carter, spotted me and her eyes widened, and as she looked me up and down in shock, "Damn, you've been hiding this whole time, huh? You look stunning." She quickly hooked her arm through mine and led me to our seats. After greeting me, Luke Adams stepped
Away.
Mia leaned in, full of gossip. "Spill it. What's going on with you, too?" I replied helplessly. "He just drove me here. A handsome top student like that, and you're not the least bit tempted." I raised a finger to my lips and whispered, "Now's not the time." Mia immediately lowered her voice. All right. I'll wait for your wedding invitation." I nearly choked. How did we jump to that? The lights dimmed as the birthday cake was brought
Out.
People crowded around. Mia and I stood on the outer edge. After the birthday song, Natalie White closed her eyes to make a wish. Jack Thomas stood beside her, both of them glowing in the candlelight, their faces full of hopes and dreams for the future. After tonight, I wouldn't have to see them again, and honestly, that felt good.
Mia
brought me a slice of cake. I didn't want it, so she ate it instead. I heard they're going abroad soon. Must be nice
to be rich.
Jack Thomas gave her a necklace earlier, a beautiful pearl one. I smiled.
Want one?
I'll get you one in the future. Mia shook her head.
Nah,
like gold. Just then Luke Adams came over, followed by a few others, including Jack Thomas and N.I. White.
Jack
Thomas froze when he saw me, clearly
surprised.
Luke, his ears red, handed me a cup of yogurt and mumbled, "Sorry. They insisted on meeting you." He already regretted letting his secret crush slip to his friends. Now they were determined to see who it was about. Luckily, they didn't say anything embarrassing. They just raised a glass and made a show of it, and were then promptly dragged away by a blushing Luke Adams. Jack Thomas turned around, and his face gradually went pale. As the party neared its end, I came back from the restroom and saw drunken Jack Thomas staggering toward me. He grabbed my
hand
Babe, where have you been? The room fell silent. Everyone's eyes snapped toward us, gossip practically radiating from their stares. Natalie White's face turned deathly pale. The usually confident and proud Jack Thomas now looked at me with a tortured expression, completely forgetting his girlfriend was right behind him.
I've
been looking everywhere. I couldn't find you, he said, slurring slightly, reeking of alcohol. This moment was just like the past, except back then, Jack Thomas had said those words to Natalie White.
He always assumed that
the one he abandoned would stay in the same spot waiting for him.
How
disgusting. Jack Thomas, Natalie White
yelled,
and, with her voice still ringing in the air, the sound of my slap echoed through the room. Jack Thomas snapped out of it, looking at me in disbelief. Campus Prince Jack, I said calmly. You're drunk and you've got the wrong
girl.
Your girlfriend's behind you. With that, I picked up my bag and walked
out.
But I hadn't gone far before the nausea overwhelmed me, and I had to crouch down, retching so hard I felt like I was about to throw up my soul. Luke Adams came running up, patting my back anxiously. Why is it so bad this time? Once I felt a little better, he gently lifted me off the ground and tried to take me to the hospital.
I
refused and asked him to take me home. Instead, in the car, Luke carefully wiped my face. I leaned back with my eyes closed, feeling his cautious and tender touch. When I opened my eyes, I saw sweat beading on his forehead. I must have scared him, but his gentle hands didn't stop moving. Let's be together, I said. His hands froze. The tissue fell from his fingers. He stared at me, thinking he misheard. What?
Say
that again. I said. I took his hand and placed it on my cheek. I want to be in a relationship with you. Luke Adams's eyes sparkled with joy.
He stammered. I.
Like, wait, is this really not a dream? I leaned in and hugged him. Of course, it's not. Luke raised his arms and held me tighter and tighter. I love you so much, he whispered. After that night, Luke Adams and I began a sweet relationship. But soon rumors started to spread that I had seduced Jack Thomas. Word got around that he and Natalie White were breaking up.
Things
became a huge mess. Natalie White even confronted Jack Thomas asking, "Are you going to Ella Davis?" And Jack Thomas answered, "Yes, I love her." Mia Carter, who witnessed the breakup firsthand, told me later, "You should have seen Natalie's face when he said that. She went pale." "I honestly don't get it," Mia said, frowning. "What's with Jack Thomas? He's never even talked to you. How did your name suddenly come up?" Since Mia was always with me at school, she'd never seen Jack Thomas approach me, aside from when he came looking for Natalie. She warned me. "I think he just wanted a convenient excuse to break up. You'd better stay away from him. Their breakup is messy. Natalie White even self-harmed trying to stop it. But the first one to lose their mind and come after me was Jack Thomas. His face was pale and haggard as if he were drowning in pain. He grabbed my hand tightly and demanded, "Why are you with him? I can be with whoever I want."
"What
does it have to do with you?"
Jack
Thomas froze for a second, then let go of my hand. As I turned to leave, he suddenly pulled me into his arms. "I know. You've come back, too. We're not even divorced yet. You can't be with him." His touch felt like something filthy, clinging to me, making my stomach churn. I struggled to break free. "Get off me." Jack Thomas's expression twisted with fury. "I know you still love me.
You're
just with him to get back at me."
I've
already broken up with Natalie White. You should break up with him 2.
Let's
Start over.
just as I was about to be.
Overwhelmed with nausea from his words, Luke Adams punched Jack Thomas to the
Ground.
Seeing my pale face, Luke didn't even glance at Jack. He immediately wrapped his arms around me, gently rubbing my back. Deep breaths.
Don't
Think about anything else. I feel sick, I whispered, face as white as paper. It's okay. If you need to throw up, just do it on me. Tears stung the corners of my eyes. I buried my face in his chest, breathing in the warm, comforting scent of him. Only then did I feel a little better. Jack Thomas stood up, laughing coldly at the scene in front of him. You think she loves you? He sneered. She loves me. Back when we were together, she'd wash strawberries and leave them on my desk every day because I like them. After lunch, she'd always drag me out for a walk. When I was drunk, she'd make me hangover soup. His eyes were turning red, as if his heart were being cut open. She loves chocolate, ice cream. She stares at thunder and always needed me to hold her. She loved the coffee I made for her. Luke Adams tightened his hold around me and calmly replied, So what? You two already broke
up.
She loves me now. That's impossible. She promised she'd love me forever. The nausea had passed. I stepped out of Luke's embrace, but he immediately grabbed my hand as if afraid I'd go back to Jack Thomas. I opened my hand, interlaced my fingers with his, and only then turned to face Jack Thomas.
I
Slowly spoke the words. You honestly
disgusted me.
Jack Thomas looked like he'd just been dealt a fatal blow.
His
Face drained of all color as he stumbled
away.
I looked at Luke Adams, who had gotten jealous over Jack's truck of the past and couldn't help but find his reaction a little adorable. Jack Thomas was long gone from my thoughts.
Luke
Pulled me into his arms and made me list all my likes and habits one by one.
then
He recited all of his favorites like a resume, only letting me go when his eyelids couldn't stay open anymore. The rumors were soon cleared up thanks to Mia Carter and some classmates. Most people now believe Jack Thomas had dragged me into the breakup just to avoid taking the blame. But Natalie White clearly didn't think that way.
she
Was convinced their breakup was all because of me and came to confront me. When she showed up, her wrist was still bandaged, but her whole demeanor was prickly like a hedgehog. Why did you seduce him? Hearing her accuse me like that right out of the gate, I didn't bother responding, just turned and walked away. But even injured, she was tenacious. She followed me relentlessly down the street. I finally turned around
and snapped.
Are you done yet?
Jack's
Ignoring me now.
He won't even answer my calls.
Did you say something to him, Miss Natalie? I barely even know him. She didn't believe me. He was drunk and kept calling your name. I raised an eyebrow, curious now. Oh, what did he
say?
Ella, she said bitterly. He kept calling out your name. I know he meant you, she insisted. I gave a cold snort. That's got nothing to do with me.
When
did you seduce him? She asked again, circling back to her first accusation.
I
Looked at her heaving chest, rising and falling with fury, and said calmly, First of all, I didn't seduce him. Second, did he ever tell you I was his ex? Her face drained of color.
I
Continued, he came to me after the breakup and begged to get back together. But I already have a boyfriend.
instead
Of coming to scold me, maybe go tell Jack Thomas to stop harassing me.
he
Used to hate me so much, even begged me to let him be with you. Now he got what he wanted and still comes crawling back to disgust me. Don't you think that's pathetic? Natalie White left in a. Days, her mind completely shattered. Both of them were clearly out of their minds, constantly disturbing me. So Luke and I decided to take a trip.
We
Traveled to another province. By the time we arrived, the sky was already dark and exhaustion was settling in.
I
Fell asleep in Luke's arms. Maybe because I'd been running into those two so often lately, I dreamed about my past
life.
It was about a month after Jack, Thomas, and I had divorced. I wasn't feeling well and went to the hospital for a checkup. The doctor said there were signs of a miscarriage and told me not to get emotional, that I should take care of my body. I sat there in silence for a moment and asked, is it still possible to terminate the pregnancy? The baby is over 3 months now, the
doctor said gently.
You need to think
Carefully.
An abortion at this stage would be very hard on your body, Jack. Thomas and I had hoped for this child for a long time, but he no longer wanted this family. I understand. Thank you,
Doctor.
I'll think about it. I left the hospital and went to Jack Thomas's office, intending to talk to him before making any decisions. Jack Thomas's first reaction to hearing I was pregnant was to sneer. Then he said, what kind of trick are you playing now? He didn't even glance at the medical report I handed him. He tossed it to the floor casually. You think faking a pregnancy will stop the divorce? No way. I have no feelings for you anymore. I don't love
you.
Be smart about it, and I'll let you leave with dignity. It felt like all the blood in my body had been drained.
A
cold chill overtook me even in the height of summer. I stumbled back home in a daze and sat silently in the dark as the light slowly shifted and then disappeared completely, leaving the room in pitch blackness. I don't know how long I sat like that before Jack Thomas came back drunk. He turned on the light and saw me sitting there. Haven't I treated you well enough these past years? Just let me go. Can we go our separate ways in peace? I looked at his flushed, drunken face and didn't say a word. Just like always, I went to make him a bowl of hangover soup.
He raised
his hand and swung it, knocking the hot soup all over me. I really regret ever giving you that love letter.
Tears
rolled down my face as a wave of nausea hit me. I clutched the trash can and vomited. But having not eaten all day, all I could throw up was bitter bile. I didn't want to see him anymore, so I walked out onto the balcony to get some fresh air. The nausea slowly faded with the cool breeze. Jack Thomas staggered out after me. When are you going to agree to the divorce? Tomorrow, I said. Slowly. I'd sign it tomorrow and get rid of the baby, too. He grabbed my hands excitedly. Really? I want half the company shares. His expression turned sour. Isn't what I've already given you enough? You were the one who cheated. Did you forget the prenup? It clearly states that if we divorce, I get half the shares. Jack Thomas stared at me for a while, then asked, are you threatening me? You don't want to get
divorced that badly.
There was no reasoning with him. Better wait until he sobered up tomorrow. But Jack Thomas suddenly went crazy and grabbed me, yelling, can't you just let me go? He was strong. I couldn't shake him off. Fearing he might hit me, I softened my tone. I'll let you go. Just let me go. First. That only made him angrier. He yanked me hard, refusing to let me leave. Then, in a fit of rage, shoved me with all his strength. I fell backward, toppling over the balcony railing. Instinctively, I grabbed him, dragging him down with me. I jolted awake with a scream. Luke Adams was startled awake, too. Seeing me trembling all over, he quickly wrapped his arms around me, gently stroking my back to calm me. Nightmare. I sniffled. He leaned down and kissed my cheek. I'm here.
Don't be scared.
I buried myself in his chest, wrapping both arms and legs around him, seeking warmth and safety. Luke pulled the blanket up and wrapped it around both of us. He held me tightly like that, and didn't let go until morning, even though the nightmare had left a shadow on my heart. The next few days of the trip were wonderful with Luke by my
side.
But when we got back home, Jack Thomas made me sick all over again. He had dumped thousands of roses in front of my building, attracting a crowd of onlookers. Naya, you're finally back. He ignored the fact that Luke Adams was standing right beside me and spoke directly to me. I've been waiting for you for days. A nearby auntie chimed in. That's right, Ella. This young man's been laying out roses here every day. Your parents couldn't even chase him away. Your mom told him you have a boyfriend already, but he just won't listen. Jack Thomas walked toward me quickly and said, Ella, I had a dream a few days ago. In the dream, you went to the hospital. That must have been heaven, telling me not to miss out on you again. Please forgive me. Let's start over.
I
gave him a cold smile. A dream?
You say.
That was just a dream? That was something that really happened.
How
could you forget? You were the one who killed me and our baby. Jack Thomas stumbled back a few steps, his face impossibly pale. He stammered, unable to form a complete sentence.
What?
I know.
No
one around us could understand what we were saying, but Jack Thomas definitely knew exactly what I meant. I continued. I can't believe you even have the nerve to talk about love. If the law allowed, you'd have been in jail already. He stood frozen, unable to make a sound. Don't come looking for me again, I told. You just seeing you makes me sick. With that, I took Luke Adams's hand and went upstairs, leaving Jack Thomas behind, pale and miserable, along with a crowd full of confused onlookers. After that day, I never saw Jack Thomas again. I guess he still had a little shame left in him. He stopped bothering me after that. Later, I heard he was getting engaged to Natalie White. But not long after, Mia Carter came over one day and said Jack Thomas didn't even show up to the engagement party. Natalie White had jumped off a building. Luckily, there was a safety mat. Natalie White wasn't physically hurt, just mentally unstable, Mia said with lingering fear. I was at the engagement banquet. I had just taken a bite of dessert when everyone said Natalie White was threatening to jump unless Jack Thomas showed up. He came but still refused. Then she really jumped. Their families are blaming each other now. They used to be a golden couple. I don't get how it turned into such a mess. I popped a grape into her mouth. The new semester's about to start. Don't waste your time worrying about people who don't matter. Mia Carter happily munched the grape, unable to stop gossiping. They say Natalie White's going abroad alone now. Jack Thomas isn't going with her.
Oh, I
replied flatly. Seeing my indifferent reaction, she switched topics and began talking about our upcoming university life. Just before the semester started, I saw Nellie White on the street. She looked even paler than the last time I saw her. Her whole body seemed thinner, and her steps were so light I almost didn't recognize her. I'm going abroad, Natalie White said. When I didn't respond, she continued. You've won. He loves you now. I frowned deeply. What does that have to do with me? Natalie White looked disappointed at my response. Do you really not love him? I'd rather fall in love with a trash can. At least a trash can is useful for holding garbage. Jack Thomas. Alive only makes me sick.
Besides, I
Have a boyfriend now. I'm in a new relationship.
can you people stop?
Showing up just to act crazy in front of
Me?
Natalie White stared at me for a long moment, then turned and left.
In
September, college started. Luke Adams and I headed to university together.
we
Weren't going to the same school, but luckily his was nearby. On our free days, we walked around each other's campuses over and over again, never getting tired of it. Over the next 4 years, we were both busy with our studies. During holidays, we traveled together across the country exploring every corner of our homeland. Not long after graduation, Luke Adams got down on one knee and proposed to me. I turned
him down.
Sorry, I'm not ready for marriage right now. I had plenty of admirers during college, and the lingering trauma from Jack Thomas's obsessive pursuit left a shadow.
Luke
Had been jealous more than once, and he had hoped marriage would give us some security as soon as we graduated.
but
That past marriage had scarred me.
I
Didn't dare step into it lightly again. I thought this would create a rift between us. But Luke Adams just smiled, pulled me into a hug, and said, "All right, I'll wait for you." And he really did. He waited another 5 years.
in the
9th year of our relationship, we got married. Through all those years, Luke Adams stayed by my side. We argued sometimes, but looking back, even the fights feel like warm memories.
at the
Wedding, someone showed up uninvited.
he
Stood silently below the stage, watching me walk out in my wedding gown.
Jack
Thomas. His eyes were full of sorrow as he stared at me. I gave him a faint nod like I would to any guest who came to wish us well. Tears slipped from his eyes, but I turned away with a smile, letting my father lead me to Luke Adams. Standing before Luke, I saw the man who would be my partner for life.
we
Exchanged drinks and kissed. After the ceremony, Luke held me and said, "I thought he came to crash the wedding.
I
Was so scared you'd run off with him."
I
Pretended to be angry. "How could you not trust me?" Luke kissed me and soothed.
no.
"I trust you more than anyone. It's just these past few nights I kept dreaming someone would barge into the wedding and steal you away."
So when I
Saw him, I freaked out. Then he added, "Your ex showed up and I was seriously jealous. Why didn't you comfort me?" "Oh, please. You're so jealous."
I
Laughed and gave him a few playful kisses on the cheek. "Now that's more like it." The next day, we found that Jack Thomas had left a wedding gift.
I
Frowned, held the red envelope between my fingers and tossed it at Luke Adams. "Donate it." Mia Carter chimed in.
that
"Envelope's thick. You really don't want
it
it." Just disgusts me.
she was
Curious. Who gave it? Who else?
Jack
Thomas. Mia went quiet, clearly remembering what Jack Thomas had done all those years ago. Then she suddenly said, "Oh, right. Natalie White came back from abroad. But guess what?"
the
Moment she got back, she went looking for Jack Thomas again. Does she have memory loss or what? Did she forget what he did to her? I lifted my glass and took a sip of water. Who knows? Luke Adams picked up a grape and fed it to
me.
I opened my mouth and ate it.
Hey,
"I'm still alive, you know."
Mia protested.
Luke had a thick skin and ignored her completely. I, on the other hand, blushed bright red. Then Luke fed me another grape. "We're newlyweds.
If
You can't handle the sweetness, take a step back." Mia grabbed the rest of the grapes in a huff and said, "I'm going Home. I'll get Josh Martin to feed me. Grapes. I laughed and gave Luke a few playful swats. See what you've done. Seeing me laugh so happily, Luke's eyes sparkled. Wife, your smile is beautiful. He slowly lowered his head and kissed me. Gently.